Hi friends, I'm Walker and welcome back to Olive Ave Nails, where we talk about vegan and cruelty-free nail polish. Today we are going to be doing a comparison of all of these lovely super dark purples from Zoya. We have 6 here, and this is the next video in my purples comparison series, so if you haven't seen the rest of this series, I will link that playlist up above in the cards, probably like right over here. And so if you want to see the rest of the videos in this playlist, you can just click up there. But we're going to dive in and look at these 6 deep purples and look at them up close and see how they compare. Alright, first up is Monica, and Monica is from the 2012 fall collection, which was the Diva Designer and Gloss collection. And Monica is described by Zoya as a dark, soft, blue-toned purple with a glossy cream finish. And I definitely see the blue tone in here. It also looks, I think, almost a little bit grayed out compared to some of the other purples that we're going to look at today. And so this is Monica. Next up we have Casey. And I don't have a release date for Casey. I think this is one of their kind of original classic colors. So I'm not exactly sure when this was released, but I can tell you that Zoya describes this one as a dark, rich, saturated, blackened, red purple cream. They say this one is impossibly sexy and dramatic to vamp up your look. This one is listed by Zoya as an intensity 4, so it is a little bit more sheer than, you know, their kind of traditional cream formula. Alright, next up is Lael, and this one is described by Zoya as a deep saturated red toned plum purple. And I really like this one. I think I've mentioned this before, that my favorite purples are a little bit more red toned, a little bit more kind of vampy and winey. I just really love them. This one is from the Downtown and Uptown collection, which was released in the fall 2007. So this one is a little bit older. It does have a really nice formula, and I think is much closer to the cream formula that we're used to from Zoya, and they do describe this one as an intensity 5. Alright, next up we have Leighton, and this might be one that you are more familiar with, or that more of you have. It's a more recent release. This was released last year in the fall 2018 Element collection, and Leighton is described as a deeply saturated blackened aubergine cream. And this one is intensity 5, so this one again has that kind of classic cream formula. Next up we have Pinta. This one is a bit different. This one is unlike some of the others that we've looked at. It is described by Zoya as a dark purple cream with very strong blue undertones, and I think that's what really makes this one look so different from the others, and when we see them up close you'll really see kind of how much of a blue undertone this one has. And if you're someone who has a hard time identifying warm versus cool undertones, I think Pinta will be a really good kind of obvious one to help you see that difference. This one is from the 2009 fall collection, which was the Truth and Dare collection. Alright, and then finally we're looking at Lydia, and Lydia is described as a rich eggplant cream that has a blackened purple base and just a hint of red to make it more wearable on all skin tones. This one is from the 2015 fall collection, which was the Focus and Flare collection. Alright, so I see Casey and Leighton as being the 2 deepest ones. Casey on this sheer stick does look a little bit more translucent, but it really is much deeper once you get it on the nail. And then I see Monica, Lydia, and Lael as being these super dark, pretty warm toned purples. And then Pinta down here is this really pretty blue toned purple. So let's take a look at this one first compared to some of these others. Alright, so I think here you can really see what the description of a cool toned purple looks like. Pinta looks almost blue next to Lydia, which definitely has much more red in it. It's a little bit winier. And then Leighton is kind of hard to see because it is so dark, but it is very subtly warm toned. It's a little bit more kind of winey purple than it is bluey purple. And so I hope that this helps you see what I mean when I say that Pinta has a cool undertone, whereas some of these others have a warm undertone. Pinta is super different than any of these. I really think, you know, it is just in a category by its own, and I put it here because it's so deep and dark, but it really is just so different with that blue undertone. It's really, really fun and unexpected. And then here are Lael, Lydia, and Monica, and I see Lydia as being a little bit lighter. It has a little bit more white in it, and Monica is a little bit more almost like grayed out. It's not quite as bright as Lydia and Lael, and I am going to swatch these 3 on the nail because I think they are similar enough that it's kind of hard to see the differences here on the sticks. All right, I'm starting with my first coat of Lydia, and this one is super deep on the nails. It just looks almost like a stain on your nails, you know, like it's a little bit translucent. It's really pretty, but definitely very, very deep. So that's the first coat of Lydia. Next up is Lael, and Lael, I think on this first coat you can see a little bit how much warmer Lydia is. Because it's not quite opaque yet, you can kind of see, you know, the colors that are in it. And I think you can see a little bit how much warmer Lydia is, but I don't know, it looks pretty similar. Lael is looking really close to black here. And then Monica is gonna look the most different, I think, because it's a little bit grayer. It's really pretty. And yeah, definitely on this first coat even, you can already see how much grayer it is and a little bit less black, but it still is super dark. So I feel like in these swatching lights, it looks really close to Lael, if not Lydia as well. All right, coming in for my second coat of Lydia. It is definitely deepening it up. I don't have any more streakiness or patchiness, so I'm going to say this is opaque in 2 coats. And it looks pretty dark. It looks almost black on this nail here. And now my second coat of Lael. This one goes on really smoothly. It's a little bit thicker than Lydia, just a smidge. That could just be that my bottle is older, but I think I remember that from when I first got it as well. And I do see a hair difference there. Like I do see Lydia as being a little bit warmer and Lael a little bit more rich, more deep. And now for my second coat of Monica. All right, so I feel like I'm seeing definitely differences between Monica and the other two. And if you had to push me, I can see that Lael is a little bit deeper and Lydia is a little bit warmer, a little bit less black. But I do think these are super close on the nail, Lael and Lydia. And so I don't know that you would need both of them. Monica does seem pretty different. It does have some gray tones. But again, if you're not gonna pull for deep purple, you may not need all 3 of these. All right, and then here are Casey and Leighton, and I really think that on the nail these actually don't look as different as they do right here, and so I am going to swatch these two because I think a lot of the difference comes down to Casey's formula, and so I want you to see how different it is from Leighton's formula. I love Leighton. Casey, honestly, I could kind of take or leave. It's not my favorite, but I do want to show you these two swatched. All right, so we're gonna do Casey and Leighton right now, and I actually decided to leave Lael here because I feel like it'll be helpful to see all 3 of them. And so this is Lael. I just did this one compared to Monica and Lydia, and I'm just gonna leave it on here. It's on 2 coats already. And then I'm gonna bring Casey in on my first coat here. Casey, if you remember, has a slightly sheerer formula, and so it's a little more jelly. I'm having a little bit of a hard time with it running a little bit at my cuticle, but I was able to clean that up a little bit with my cleanup brush. Right, and here is the first coat of Leighton. Wow, this one is so dark. Even on that first coat, it's just so blackened and deep and oh, absolutely gorgeous. I love Leighton. I was so happy with this one and Rachel in the fall. Both of them were so dark and so fun last year. All right, I'm coming in for my second coat of Casey, and I got a little less polish on my brush this time, so hopefully it'll be a little bit easier to manipulate. I'm gonna say Casey is probably one of the only Zoyas that I just like really dislike. It is like not jelly enough to be jelly, and it's not creamy enough to be creamy, and I just find it streaky, really hard to apply. I don't love this one. I like the idea, but I don't love the execution. So that's 2 coats of Casey. It is looking super dark, but you know, again, with that formula, you're still getting a little bit of translucency. Right, and then here's Leighton. Leighton, on the other hand, is super creamy, super opaque. It's like, I don't know, glass. It's so beautiful. And in 2 coats, this one is totally opaque. It was honestly probably almost opaque in 1 coat. It is super dark, super black on the nails. You can see some purple in there, like it's not straight up black. If you get it in the right light, I do see the purple, and it definitely is lighter than Lael. Sorry, it definitely is darker than Lael. Lael looks much more purple in comparison, which is so fun because Lael looked so black in our other shots. So I hope this is helpful. Casey, I don't even know what to make of this one. I don't like this polish, I'm sorry, but I can see, you know, why somebody might like it. So if you're a Casey fan, you know, let me know down below, convince me to see your ways. But me, I'm gonna stick with the other 2. All right, so now that we've seen these swatched, let's take a look at some other polishes to kind of show you how these fit in the rest of Zoya's collection. The first one that I want to show you is another cool toned polish because I want to show you why I didn't include Pinta with this deeper cool toned group. This is Kiara, and this is a super dark purple. It's not quite black, but it is really, really dark. But compared to Pinta, it is super vibrant. So here these are up close. I think you can see what I mean by them both being cool toned. They both definitely pull much more blue than they do, you know, wine or pink or red. And so these are definitely both cool toned, but you can just see how much more white is in Kiara. It is so much brighter, much more vibrant, and Pinta is much deeper. So I think this kind of helps situate Pinta with the rest of the cool tones. All right, and then I've been referring to some of the kind of red toned purples down here as being a little bit winey. So I wanted to show you Veronica, Tawny, and Anja, which are, I would say, purple toned reds, whereas these guys are red toned purples. And I just want to show you what I mean by that. I think you can see how much more red is in these, and down here these are definitely purple with just a hint of, you know, red warmth in them. And so I wanted to show that these are definitely different than these kind of deep, you know, dark, winey reds. They're not the same thing, even though I'm using similar words to describe them. And then we have looked at some other kind of darker, warm-toned reds, and so I wanted to bring in Maeve and Landon just to show you how these compare, because I think Landon especially looks really dark on the nail, but compared to these, they are super bright, not quite as close to black. So for example, here's Lydia with Maeve and Landon, and you can just see how nice and deep and dark Lydia is. It fits here. It is a warm-toned purple, but it is much darker, much closer, you know, not all the way, but definitely closer to black than Maeve and Landon. All right, friends, I think my two favorites here are Monica and Leighton. I really like all the polishes in this color. I'm somebody who really enjoys wearing these super deep colors, especially in the fall. Obviously, you know, what I have on my nails right now is a little bit different, but especially in the fall, in the cooler months, I love these super deep dark polishes. So I think these are my two favorites, but it's pretty hard to pick two. I think the only one that I can do without in this group is Casey, but if you have Casey and you love it, you know, let me know down below, because I always feel like there's somebody out there who loves one that I don't love, and they can kind of help me see the positive side to that one. But as always, let me know if you liked this video. Let me know which one is your favorite, and if you want to see the rest of this series, then just click the little button on your screen, and if you want to subscribe so you don't miss the rest of this comparison series, then hit the subscribe button. Awesome, thanks so much. I'll see you in the next one.